From Washington Community High School and Torrey Gymnasium, Clutch Sports Media is on the air for the second of a regional doubleheader. Tonight, the host Panthers will take on the challengers traveling up Washington Street, the East Peoria Raiders. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back into the broadcast. You just maybe watched the first game between Streeter and Metamora, or if you're tuning in for the first time this evening, welcome in. John Camosa and Gavin Russell here on the call for you. John, this is going to be an entertaining second game. Metamora really took care of business in the first one. This one figures to be great as well.
Yeah, and we know it's going to be a great game because both these teams have squared off twice this season. Washington got the upper hand two times, once here at home and then on the road at East Peoria in overtime. Both games came down to the wire. So these two teams very evenly matched, even based off their records. Washington comes in at 18-11, East Peoria 17-12, so they're neck and neck.
They're very even-keeled indeed. Both games were very entertaining. We were at one of them. John Camosa went to overtime as Washington mounted a big comeback. There was exciting plays on both sides, and the Panthers came away with a big victory in East Peoria. But back in Washington tonight, their third meeting of the season. Going to get some starting lineups here in just a moment, but kind of looking at some key players for each team, starting with the visiting Raiders, who will be in the maroon and gold this evening. John, it's hard to overlook the Cal Poly commit, D1 prospect Justin Page.
Yeah, and Justin Page, you know, a lot of people thought when he comes over to Metamora from Manual, the transfer, that he would just be this preeminent scorer. Not only can he score, but he is a facilitator as well, and I think that's where he really shines on the court, is his ability to move the basketball and find open players like Jack DuBois, Sol Count, Nas Jackson. There's a lot of talent on this roster for East Peoria.
Indeed there is. For Washington, they've got many great players as well. We're going to take a quick break for our great sponsors. We'll be right back for IHSA basketball on ClutchSportsAl.com.
Hi, this is Ben Whitaker, and this is Ben Whitaker's Used Cars.
Hey, everybody knows I know deals. You want Sam Lehman deals? You want my deals. And I'm not budging.
Ain't nobody doing deals like I do. I'm gonna bust this Sam Lehman, Mort. Just show me the numbers.
What? Ain't nobody beating that deal.
That's how we do deals. No one else will.
Welcome back to Washington as East Peoria and Washington are ready to battle it out. Starting lineups underway. John, we took a quick break right there, but we talked about East Peoria. How about the Washington Panthers? Obviously, they've lost a couple of great players in recent years. Vander Height, Drew Lewis, to name a couple. But again, they've got a really stout team once again. Jake Stewart, Micah Brewer, Jamari White. Panthers got it rolling this season.
Yeah, it's that next man up attitude. They graduate a lot of great players. They bring up other guys. Jake Stewart, the senior leader on this team. Washington, where they're really good, not only defensively, but they can shoot the ball lights out beyond the arc. We're going to see Washington want to put a big effort here at home tonight.
Certainly will. Get you the starting lineups in just one moment. Raiders in maroon and gold, and the host Panthers in orange, black, and base color white. Starting lineups, we're going to start with the Washington Panthers, the home team on the scoreboard. They'll start out with senior guard 5'10", number 3, Jake Stewart. Joining him is senior guard 5'10", number 5, Micah Brewer. Freshman 6'4" forward, number 12, James Johnson. Number 20, senior forward, number 20, Jamari White. And rounding things out is junior forward, number 40, Braden Vanderheit, coached by Eric Schumerhorn. Raiders line up as such: 6'5" senior, number 5, Justin Page, out there with 6'2" junior, number 10, AJ Reinders. 6'3" senior guard, number 11, Jack DuBois. 5'11" senior guard, number 23, Cam Mabels, and senior forward, number 30, Saul Chown, is out there to round it out as the Raiders win the tip. Regional basketball on ClutchSportsAl.com. Second game of a doubleheader. Glad you've joined us. Raiders start with the ball. Being patient here in the first 20 seconds. Here's Page. Bumps into the lane. Now Chown drives inside, and he's fouled on the floor.
This is going to be big for East Peoria on this first possession. Not only is it a regional semifinal game, but they're playing Washington at home. It's almost like a home game for the Panthers. It is a home game. And it's going to be big for both sides coming out early to try to take this momentum.
Indeed it is. Here's Page trying to shoot a three. In, out, and back in for Justin Page. Got the friendly roll from the rim. Starts out with the lead. 3 for Page. Here's Johnson. And Johnson's been really good as a freshman, Joko. He's come up in a big way. Eric Schimmelhorn has glowing things to say about him. He's going to be a big part for the future.
Yeah, he's been a great key player for the Panthers all season long. And getting into that starting role now, what bigger way than a regional semifinal.
Stewart traveled with the ball. A little awkward hop jump step. Raiders will get it back. And you mentioned a home game here for the Panthers as they're the host site. Just the atmosphere overall has been incredible. I mean, there's not many empty seats. Packed house. I mean, what more could you ask for?
Yeah, and you got, student sections on both sides. Washington, their home crowd, but East Peoria brought a full fan base themselves.
A.J. Reinders hits the 3 as Raiders traveled well. Not a long drive, maybe 10 minutes up Washington Street. 3 Mid-Illini teams in this regional. Here's Brewer trying to answer. No good. Tipped around. Du Bois comes out with it. Reinders over to Mabels. Stops, thinks better. Page, and he will get called with an offensive foul. It'll go back to Washington.
Didn't like the call, the push off there. East Peoria was trying to knock down their third 3 of the game in this first quarter.
Panthers will get it back. 2 minutes in, it's 6-0 Raiders. Hit a couple of 3 balls. Washington's had a couple of good looks early on. Brewer looking to somewhere to go. Gets it off to Jamari White. Backs it out to Brewer. Washington's always a patient team on offense. Brewer steps in. Can't get it to go, but they love getting good looks. Here's Page. Euro steps. And going to be a blocking foul. He'll shoot 2.
And one thing both teams love to get in transition. East Peoria showing that early on. Page draws the foul. East Peoria a chance to take an 8-point lead with free throws.
Page will shoot 2. I'm sure the Washington student section will be in his ear on this shot.
You have to imagine, especially in the playoff atmosphere.
He hits the first one. John, you've seen some great regional games, I'm sure, in your time, back when you were doing some reporting and with ClutchSportsOut.com. Has the atmosphere been as good as this in a regional?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can't match games, especially when they come to Torrey Gymnasium. And, a lot of different schools have great atmospheres, but there's just something about the energy in this place. And I think that's because we covered a lot of TOC games here as well, but I just remember some great games here between Manual and Washington, Metamora, Washington, and you got to love this atmosphere.
Certainly do. Stewart thought about it from the volleyball line. They get it into Vanderheit. Dumps it down and it's poked out of bounds, so it'll stay with Washington. Both these teams played a very tough Mid-Illini Conference slate. In common, they couldn't take down 14-0 Metamora, who ran the table in the conference. Number 1 team in 3A. Oh, so good this season. Jamari White bounced around. Johnson, and he's fouled by Saul Chown. So he'll go to the line to shoot 2. Of course, Metamora running the table this season, John, but, I mean, you just got to think up and down the conference, having the kind of competition that they had in the 14-game conference slate, got to really help them prepare for this game.
Yeah, it does. I mean, when you play in a tough conference, not only that, you play a tough non-conference schedule, gets you ready for the postseason, and early on we're seeing that with East Peoria inside, that interior defense. They've played some big teams. not a play down low, and I think that's going to be big tonight for the Raiders. Washington, a team that likes to crash the boards and get down low.
Both from Johnson are good, so Washington's on the board 3 minutes in. Bernie Wynn checks in, and if I recall correctly, Bernie Wynn had a monster game last time these teams matched up in East Peoria, including a buzzer beater to send the Panthers to halftime. I mean, Wynn, maybe not even unsung hero, he was the hero for the Panthers.
Yeah, he definitely shined in that game, and Gavin, you and I were on the call for that one, and that definitely got the fans fired up there in Washington.
Sophomore, here's Page, three-pointer off the front iron. Johnson gets the board. Here comes Wynn. Really intelligent player. Johnson drives in, stripped away, bounces around, finally found. DeAndre Jackson is into the game, and he picked the ball up. Foul on the Raiders. Cam Mabels. Jake Stewart gets a brief breather as DeAndre Jackson will come back out. Jackson, another young player on this team. He'll be back next year, just a junior.
I think that's one thing East Peoria knows coming in. Seeing Washington twice already this season is got to play tough defense, and they're showing that early on.
Got to do that indeed. Washington without a field goal. They have got 2 free throws. Here comes Vanderheit. And a foul right there, so Cam Mabels in a matter of seconds picks up his second foul of the game, already in early foul trouble. Buddy Jackson looks like he was due to replace him either way.
Washington, continues to get inside, draw that contact. And limiting turnovers, that's going to be crucial for both sides too, as Washington gives it away.
Tough break right there. It's going to be Micah Brewer coming out of the game. It's Jackson, after a brief breather by him, will come back in. Page methodically walks it up. He'll get it back over the timeline. Nearly stolen away. Reinders barely saves it. Goes up, and no good. Unfavorable rim. Here comes Bernie Wynn. Up, nice feed, but tipped away by Justin Page. Wynn's got the right idea, though. Really, just a smart player as a sophomore. He played a little bit as a freshman, but already showing massive progress.
Yeah, you can find that slip in the gap there, deliver that pass, but just credit to Justin Page, able to get back there in a hurry, deflect that pass.
Stewart directs traffic. He's got a baseball season coming up too, but I think he would sacrifice a little bit of that for a deep postseason run. Stewart drives in. Tough take. Page gets the board. Driving over to Du Bois. Thought about a 2-point shot. Thought better. Chown. Nowhere to go. Chown in the corner. Makes a move. Hop step. Down to Du Bois. Up and under. Really pretty shot there from Jack Du Bois. 10-2 Raiders.
Gets that kiss off the glass. Another great look. East Peoria's pressure tonight is hounding Washington.
Bernie Wynn with a tough assignment, guarding Justin Page. Reinders will shoot another 3. Got it to go. That's his second. And a timeout by Washington.
East Peoria fired up.
During this timeout, we're going to take a quick break in our great sponsor, Uptrade.
Find your perfect used car at every Uftring Auto Group dealer. All-wheel drive SUVs, hard-working trucks, economy, muscle, luxury, and more. You'll feel good when you buy an Uftring used car, because if we wouldn't sell it to our family, we wouldn't sell it to you. UftringAutogroup.com.
Also sponsored by Jake Weston State Farm in Washington. For all your insurance needs, give Jake a call, 309-444-4441 or JakeWestonInsurance.com. Also brought to you by Domino's. Everybody wins when you choose Domino's. Lots of great menu items, including classic favorites, pizza and wings. Try their new loaded tots as well. Lots of great options at Domino's. Off the timeout, John. Washington struggled in the early going. They're no stranger to picking it up. Eric Schirmorn took a timeout. What's the message in the huddle?
I think you got to stay composed, not let the score on the scoreboard phase you. You got to just claw back into this game. Still a lot of time.
A lot of time. Panthers know a thing or two about a comeback. 3 was no good from Jake Stewart. Here's Justin Page. Steps in. Corner of the free throw line was short off the iron. Bounces around and Jamari White grabs it. Johnson will shoot a 3 from the corner. No good. Here comes Reinders. Stolen away. Errant pass right there.
Not the pass if you want if you're East Peoria. Continue that momentum and giving Washington a chance here. The Panthers want to try to get some more points on the board.
Obviously a tough miscue right there. Trying to get to Vanderheit on the mismatch. It's poked away. Brewer comes out with it. Stewart's open for 3. No good. Page grabs it. Football pass from Justin Page. Dubois deep 3 off the iron. Greco gets it. Page will try a 3. Back iron off. And Jamari White comes out with it. Maybe a little rush for the Raiders. Got to stop and tried to rush it very quickly. Maybe that's the game plan, though.
I think they're just looking for that big shot, kind of erupt that crowd.
Stewart's looking for a 3. Drives inside and fouled on the way up. To the dismay of the East Peoria bench. Got some contact, though, so he'll shoot 2. Stewart, one of several multi-sport athletes on the floor tonight. Mentioned he's got a baseball season coming up, as do a couple of the Raiders players. Dubois will play on the diamond for East Peoria. Always a good dynamic to have your multi-sport stars. Keeps them conditioned year-round, John.
Yeah, just that quick transition. When your basketball season's over, you're going right into baseball or track, and like you said, Gavin, it does really help stay in condition. It's like when a lot of guys come out of football right into basketball as well. You build that strength.
That can be big for your season, especially in the postseason. Chown drives down. Reinders' third 3 of the game off. Here come the Panthers. Stewart going quick. Johnson lost it out of bounds. Tough play right there. East Peoria bench signals 1 shot.
Yeah, 29.1, chance to just slow it down and get some points on the board. We've seen a couple quick shots go off from East Peoria, just a little bit rushed. You got to slow that offense down.
Justin Page out of the game, probably not for long. 3 of the 5 Raiders starters in the ball game. 12 seconds to go. Here's Chown. He's going to be the man. Drives in. Free throw line jumper. Hits it. And Raiders go up 15-4. Other way. At the horn. It's going to be off. Raiders finish out the first quarter with a lead 15-4. We're going to take a quick break and be right back on ClutchSportsIL.com.
The Jansen Law Center, representing Illinois injury victims for over 40 years.
Involved in an automobile crash? Take out your cell phone, touch #4-LAW, and you reach the Jansen Law Center. You have the power and experience of the Jansen Law Center behind your claim.
Jay Jansen. One name says it all.
Welcome back to Washington. We'd also like to give a great shout out to our sponsor at State Farm. It's Jake Weston in Washington. See the number on your screen right there. Pretty easy to remember. A bunch of 4s, a 1, and a 309. Or visit his website, jakewestoninsurance.com. Also like to thank our other great sponsor, Domino's. Pizza sounds pretty good right about now, although I did enjoy the Washington hospitality room. But maybe I'll go for some post-game pizza at Domino's. Pizza, wings, loaded tots, and more. Use code 1126 At checkout, online or in store, 20 area locations. Choose Domino's. Back in Washington, second quarter, about to get underway. John Camosa, Gavin Russell. John, it was a really good first quarter for the Raiders. Washington did not score a single field goal in the quarter. They got 4 free throws to go. Trying to change it. Here's Stewart blocked, and he's going to be fouled, though. A little bit of a block initially, but another chance of the line.
I think when you play a team twice, you get to go back, watch film, kind of learn from some of your mishaps, mistakes, maybe some guys that you left open. And right now it's been East Peoria's defense that's really propelled them in this first quarter, or I should say going into this quarter in the first quarter. But Jake Stewart, another one at the line, and that's where Washington saw all their points come at the free throw line.
Whatever it takes. Points are points. They count the same. Page slowly up across half court. Not in a hurry now. Now he speeds up a little bit. Goes in with the left. Up and in for 2. Puts it in over Patterson. Now the Panthers attack the other direction. Stewart guarded by Buddy Jackson. Tipped away. Stolen. Here comes Saul Chown. Down to Page. Up and in for 2. Justin Page with two quick buckets, and he's up to 9 on the evening. And foul on Justin Page. And that's probably the last thing you want is getting him in foul trouble. Just a minute into second quarter, he's already got 2 fouls.
Yeah, not a player you want to get in foul trouble, one of your top scorers, assist leaders. Gives Washington another chance at the line, but East Peoria has really done a good job scoring here.
And first one up from Brewer is good. All the points for Washington have come at the free throw line. And it's good, 8 for 8. Panthers have been practicing the free throw shooting in the gym.
And those points can add up. A couple free throws here and there. Get back in the game.
Without free throws, this ball game would be 19-0. Du Bois up and in, tough take from the senior. 21-8. Andre Lewis in the game now, younger brother of Drew Lewis. Emerging star for the Panthers. He'll drive in, kicks it out to Johnson. Down low, Vanderhyde on a mismatch. Nowhere to go. Brooks guarding Lewis.
East Peoria just cutting off that lane, not giving Washington anything inside.
Lewis drives on Brooks, up and in. There you go, first field goal of the game for Washington. Andre Lewis, we've seen that a number of times this season, plays a lot like his older brother, can just drive around and kind of get his own.
Yeah, strong take to the basket.
Du Bois steps in, tough 2-pointer, hits a difficult shot. Good defense by the Panthers, but a better shot from Jack Du Bois.
And East Peoria fired up in this first half. Some nice shots to fall. Washington looking for that answer.
Brewer moves it around to Jamari White. Brooks gets screened. Lewis, path to the hoop, got it to go. He's got 4. Andre Lewis might be the X factor tonight for the Panthers. Page, unsurprisingly, has been well involved. Brooks has it.
Washington, these last couple possessions here, they've found that spacing inside, able to get to the basket.
Raiders kick it back out, reset. Here's Page. Chown thought about it, head fake. Tough shot again, hitting with ease. But once again, good defense, just hitting tougher shots.
And they've really found that touch from mid-range. So Chown, Du Bois, Justin Page.
And that's going to be an and one. Thought they might call it on the floor. But Braden Vanderheit with a big spark right there, and they'll try to complete the old-fashioned three.
Washington right back into this game. They know they're going to have to play hard with East Peoria the way they're shooting right now. East Peoria had 6 players on the court at the moment. Sub back out.
Looks like they got it all straightened away. Vanderheit trying for the three-point play. And it's good. 10-point game, 25-15. Panthers starting to pick it up. 11 in the quarter for them. Raiders with 10. Here's Du Bois. Over to Buddy Jackson. Got a mismatch. Vanderheit guards him. Reinders out to Jackson. Du Bois nowhere to go. And gets a timeout. Looks like John Gerznich had been asking for one for a bit, and officials finally grant his wish. Timeout on the floor. We're going to get a quick break, and our great sponsors at Updrain.
When you're ready to buy a used car or truck, we'll make it happen at every Uftring Auto Group dealer with our best selection of budget and bargain cars in over a year and prices and payments you can afford. Special financing is available and you can drive home today. UftringAutoGroup.com.
Welcome back to Washington. Thanks to our great sponsors at Updrain. We'd also like to thank our great sponsor in Washington. It's Jake Weston State Farm. For all your insurance need, auto, home, life, or anything else you can insure, give Jake a call, 309-444-4441 or at JakeWestonInsurance.com. Everybody wins at Domino's. If you're feeling hungry, looking for some late night pizza, or for any of the great basketball coming up, need a game day meal, check out Domino's. New loaded tots, along with many classic favorites, desserts, pizza, wings, and more. You've got 20 Central Illinois locations to choose from. Use code 1126 at checkout, online or in store. Domino's. There's the Orange Crush, but they're not so orange tonight. Blackout theme for the home Panther student section. Looks like it's a whiteout on the other side, so we'll see if get that later. Page turns around, shoots it off the iron.
Both teams going neutral colors tonight.
Neutral colors. Black and white, little contrasting view there. Andre Lewis gives it off to Jake Stewart. He'll reset on the logo.
Looks like Washington's just going to take a patient possession here, try to look for a good shot. They can cut it to single digits, the basket.
Well in this game, trying to get it to 7, short off the iron. Up to Mabels. East Peoria wants to move fast. Du Bois, tough corner three, got it to go. Jack Du Bois, he's heating up. He's up to 9, so a pair of Raiders with 9.
He's been really solid for East Peoria this season.
Poked away, claps. Lewis will take his time on the Panther logo. James Johnson over to Stewart. And foul right there. And he'll shoot. Still one, and an opportunity for the bonus.
And Gavin, you got to think too, Jack Du Bois fired up. We've seen a lot of other guys in East Peoria. Anytime you lose to a team twice in the regular season, come out, play them in the regional, and you grab a big lead, you're going to get fired up.
Obviously, as long as you keep it within reason, there's nothing vulgar or anything obscene exchanged.
But you love to see it in the postseason, just that energy.
Fired up, and that's what you got to do. Postseasons, John, are all about not even always how good you are. Of course, good teams typically have the upper hand, but just how big of a run you can go on. It's a game-to-game thing. and just about getting on that run.
Oh, and it's a fresh start, too. You know, everybody makes the postseason in basketball, and unlike football, so no matter what your record is, you get a chance to go in there and start from scratch.
Page up and in for 2. He's up to 11, first player in double figures for either side. 2 minutes coming up now in the first half. Raiders 30, Panthers 17. Stewart given to Lewis, moving it around the horn.
Slowing it down a little bit. Just under 2 minutes here in the second quarter.
And a charge right there. Vanderheit bowled them over. And Mabels takes the charge. Minute 40, John, from the Raiders' perspective, I wouldn't expect them to chew a minute 40 off the clock, but maybe try to chew some of that time off.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to go necessarily fast down here to score, but I think they're going to take a little bit of time off, but still play for a good shot.
Plenty of time to set something up well. Page dribbles out. Body hit the deck. No call. Coming up on a minute in the first half. Here's Du Bois. He'll back out with it. Precisely what they'll do. They're just going to take it slow.
Yeah, they'll probably get this one under a minute. That's what it's looking like.
Here's Du Bois. He'll make a move. Out to Chown. Chown, long 2. Got it to go. Saul Chown. Up to 6 on the game now. A lot of players getting involved. 45 seconds. Panthers' last shot if they want it. See what they opt to do. .30 seconds now. Brewer steps over to Stewart. Back around.
Washington's trying to look for that open look.
Looks like they'll try to take the last shot. They find Vanderheit, low post, got it to go. 6 seconds, now 5. Page will try to make something happen. Steps back, tough three-pointer off the front iron, and that's where we'll leave the first half. Raiders 32, Panthers 19. John, entertaining first half. Both teams were able to make some buckets. Panthers really picked it up after a slow start. Got to figure they're going to want to make some adjustments at halftime.
Yeah, and Washington obviously wants to come out fired up in the second half, get back into this game. East Peoria, just a great first half, knocking down some big shots. So, expect Washington to make those adjustments, and we'll see how East Peoria kind of feeds off of that.
It's a game of adjustments and a game of runs. We'll see how they can fare in the second half coming up on ClutchSportsOut.com. Appreciate you joining us. John Camosa, Gavin Russell, and the Clutch Sports media staff. We're going to step aside for a quick break and break down the first half for you. IHSA 3A Regional Basketball on ClutchSportsOut.com.
There's a lot of talk about big corners, big dealers, big inventory, and big lots. At Bob Grimm Chevrolet Morton, we believe the biggest point is being missed: the buyer.
We never got any surprises. When they told us a price, that's what it was. That's why I kept coming back. We just always enjoyed the way they treated us. They truly do it the Bob Grimm way, which is they treat the customer like they want to be treated.
Visit GrimmChevy.com and drive away your new vehicle your way. That's the Bob Grimm way.
From the very beginning, she was my support, my cheerleader, always giving me the best she could. Now it's my time to find the best for her, and that started with a call to Shannon Fauner, Sunflower Real Estate Group. Their lifestyle transition experts became part of our family, working with us to find the right fit for Mom, making sure she was ready, and getting her excited for her new home. Shannon Fauner, Sunflower Real Estate Group, the key piece to your puzzle.
Welcome back to Washington's Torrey Gymnasium. So we've got an IHSA 3A regional matchup in front of us tonight. Both student sections sitting down for the time being, and some fans heading for the concession stands. We've had a great first half of basketball. John Camosa alongside Gavin Russell here. John, first half, let's start in the first quarter. Raiders had a big advantage early on. Washington did not score a field goal in that first quarter, so a slow start didn't help matters. Just couldn't get much going.
No, I think it really comes down to defense. You know, anytime you start the postseason, got to have your best defensive effort, and that's what East Peoria did right out the gate. They cut off a lot of passes that Washington threw, had some turnovers that led to baskets on the other end, and not only that, it's the ability to knock down some threes that were well contested. So I think that was really big for East Peoria, and Washington just didn't quite have an answer for East Peoria, but they started to turn it on a little bit. I think some of those free throws helped spark them, so it should be an exciting second half.
Indeed it will. Panthers picked it up in quarter number 2. They still trail by 13, but whole half to go, and this is kind of the same storyline as we saw last time these two teams met up. East Peoria had a big lead. I'm not sure it was quite 13. I have to go back and crunch the numbers on that one, but nevertheless, Raiders had a lead. Washington didn't let it faze them. They ended up coming back, forcing OT, and then winning that ball game, so they could have no problems coming back in this game. Maybe some keys for the second half, John. Start with the Raiders first. They've done some good things right. Key for them, and then a key for Washington.
I think the key for East Peoria, same thing. You keep up that defensive effort. I think rebounding is going to be big down low as well. And for Washington, you know, you got to play some strong defense. We've known Washington throughout the season to really have that hard-nosed defense. That's going to be big. Limit Justin Page, Jack Du Bois. Right now, East Peoria kind of scoring at will when they want to, so that's going to be big for Washington. You know, we've seen them take a lot of charges. That's what they're going to have to factor in the second half. So try to get some guys like Jake Stewart, Micah Brewer involved in the offense as well.
Coaching staff of Washington will certainly have some things drawn up, no doubt about it. See what East Peoria counters with coming out in the second half. Some first half numbers, really balanced scoring effort on the side of East Peoria. 11 for Page, 9 for Du Bois, 6 apiece for Chown and Reinders. So those are the 4 leaders for them. Andre Lewis had 4 for the Panthers, 6 for Jake Stewart, all coming from the charity stripe. James Johnson added a couple different players adding a pair of points. A lot of different players getting involved. Both teams pretty deep squads, so unsurprising to see. We'll get started for second half action in about 5 minutes. John, there's a lot of great basketball going around Central Illinois this week. Yesterday we saw the 3A girls sectional semifinal. Washington and Peoria High will match up tomorrow. Today we've got regional basketball. Thursday is sectional championships. Friday, regional championships. Looking at the college circuit, Sunday Bradley plays Drake for a chance at a conference title. The River City's hosting some great hoops right about now.
I mean, if you're in the Peoria area especially, and you got your regional title games, your sectional championship games, a Bradley game where they have a chance to win the Valley, you know, at home, which hasn't happened in years since the early 90s. Gavin, it's a good slate of basketball on hand for fans. They're treated to some really good games, not only high school but college.
Gotta love that when you've got such a deep slate of games to be able to choose from. It's not quite March, but it's the original IHSA March Madness, if you will. Getting started a little bit early. The madness starts in February. We're going to step aside for a quick break here on ClutchSportsAl.com. We'll be back for second half action and a little bit more recap before we get second half of Panthers and Raiders underway. Don't go anywhere. You're watching IHSA 3A Boys Regional Basketball on ClutchSportsIL.com.
The Jansen Law Center, representing Illinois injury victims for over 40 years.
Involved in an automobile crash? Take out your cell phone. Touch pound 4 law and you reach the Jansen Law Center. You have the power and experience of the Jansen Law Center behind your claim.
Jay Jansen. One name says it all.
There's a lot of talk about big. Big corners, big dealers, big inventory, and big lots. At Bob Grimm Chevrolet Morton, we believe the biggest point is being missed. the buyer.
We never got any surprises. When they told us a price, that's what it was. That's why I kept coming back. We just always enjoyed the way they treated us. They truly do it the Bob Grimm way, which is they treat the customer like they want to be treated.
Visit GrimmChevy.com and drive away your new vehicle your way. That's the Bob Grimm way.
Start your day with a delicious handcrafted breakfast at Excellent Cafe. From appetizing avocado toast to a perfect pancake, Bloody Marys, and mimosas, our staff is here every morning to send you to work with a smile.
Folks are stuck in ditches. It is a rough one this morning outside, folks, and this just in, school has been canceled for all of our viewing area.
Your next snow day, sponsored by Bond Eye Associates.
It wasn't that long ago I was feeling hopeless, working a job that made me miserable. Sure, I was getting my paycheck, but I was missing out on everything that mattered. I had to make a change, and that change was joining Sunflower Real Estate Group. Becoming a realtor didn't just give me the flexibility I needed. I'm no longer the mom who has to say no, or the wife that's too tired for date night. Sunflower gave me my life back. Sunflower Real Estate Group, the brightest spot in real estate.
Welcome back to Washington. Appreciate you sticking with us through our halftime break. Raiders 32, Panthers 19. Here at halftime, let's get a quick word for our great sponsor. In Washington, it's Jake from State Farm. Call Jake Weston for all your insurance needs. 309-3 4s, 3 more 4s, and a 1. That's what you can call him at. JakeWestonInsurance.com for all your insurance needs. And by Domino's. If you're getting hungry, it's time for some Domino's. Everybody wins when you choose it. Plenty to choose from. Great favorites, pizza, wings, appetizers, desserts, and more. Use code 1126 at checkout, both online or in store. 20 area locations to choose from, including several right here in Central Illinois. Thanks to Domino's, Jake Weston, Uftring, and all of our great sponsors for supporting tonight's broadcast. John Camosa, Gavin Russell, Larry Larson, Charlie Schumerhorn, Teddy Ball on hand in Washington for the second of a regional matchup, and we've got a few seconds before second half gets underway. Some scores for you if you haven't been keeping up on it. Rich Woods and Peoria Manual advance to the regional final on Friday that's played at Peoria Central. John, that is going to be one heck of a matchup. In-city rivals, best in the Big 12. That's going to be an electric matchup.
Yeah, you can't ask for a better game. You know, teams that have met this season in the regular season, Rich Woods ending the year in the state rankings, Manual really hitting their stride. And it's something about Peoria Manual, Gavin, when the postseason hits, no matter their record throughout the regular season, they live for this moment. They showed that tonight with the win over their rival Peoria High, and like you said, Friday night will be an exciting game between the Knights and Rams.
It will, but here in the Washington Regional, we've got East Peoria and Washington. Chown starts out there with Page, Reinders, Dubois, and Reinders shoots it. Quick shot, no good. Mabel's also out there. Vanderheit, Stewart, Johnson, White, and Brewer. Brewer, quick three, got it to go. Here come the Panthers. Not even 30 seconds in, it's a 10-point game, and they can flip the script quick, John. Couple of buckets, and this is a different ball game.
Yeah, that's the spark that Washington needed. They find their sharpshooter in the corner. Just like that, Washington right back in this game.
Page tries to counter, no good. Tipped alive, kept by Washington though. Stolen away. Here's Dubois, goes up, gets in for two. Steal and score, Chown to Dubois, and Dubois matches Page with 11.
And that was a big turnaround for East Peoria. Just when you think Washington gets a little momentum with the three, gets the ball back, East Peoria tips it right back away.
2-on-1. Page finds Reinders up and in for two. Reinders up to 8 on the ball game. So 2 quick buckets for the Raiders, has their lead up to 14. Brewer and company can hit from 3, as can Jake Stewart. Vanderheit low post. Something they've taken advantage of a couple times tonight.
Now we're getting that defensive slugfest. Both teams going back and forth.
Chown's three is in and out. John Gersdich didn't like the shot. Maybe a bit rushed. Got the lead, you can take your time. Brewer backs it out. Still dribbling. And tried to find Vanderheit inside, stolen by Page. DuBois thought about a three, and he's going to travel. Got a little ahead of himself right there. And I think this is a good thing to not notice, John. Both teams have turned the ball over very little, a few times, more of a product of good defense, but low turnovers beating good pace.
Yeah, that's big. Anytime you can limit those turnovers, clean basketball, you had a good chance to win the game. Both teams obviously want to win this game really bad.
And a foul on Reinders. Gave a bump to Vanderheit, and Vanderheit fell over, trying to move around the screen. Vanderheit to inbound. Into Brewer. Brewer thought about a three. Makes a move. Nowhere to go. Back out to Stewart. Stewart, deep three-pointer, off the mark. Vanderheit gets the board. Brewer wide open, nothing but net. Micah Brewer, 9-point game as Micah Brewer's getting hot.
Yeah, those second chance points for Washington. They start to find their touch, and knocking down a big three there was Brewer.
Hey, that was a tough shot, good defense. Here's another chance for Washington. They're on the run. Brewer, tough shot, got it to go. Micah Brewer, 8 points in the second half for the senior. And it's a 7-point game. Timeout East Peoria.
Just like that, Washington back in it. East Peoria take a timeout to talk some things over. But Gavin, we've seen two really good matchups between these teams, and going to be setting up for another one.
Get a quick break for our great.
Find your next used car at every Uftring Auto Group dealer with a diverse selection for everyone. Many with low miles and remaining factory warranties. You'll feel good about your Uftring used car because if we wouldn't sell it to our family, we wouldn't sell it to you. UftringAutoGroup.com.
Welcome back to Washington. Also like to thank Jake Weston State Farm in Washington. For all your insurance needs, auto, home, or life, give Jake a call, 309-444-4441 or at jakewestoninsurance.com. Also by Domino's. Domino's, yeah, everybody wins when you choose Domino's. Plenty of great things to enjoy. Pizza, wings, new loaded tots, and more. Over 20 area locations to choose from. Choose Domino's. Raiders to inbound off their timeout. Panthers have started to heat up in a big way. 7-0 run, largely aided by Micah Brewer, who has been electric in the second half. He's up to 10 points, and 8 of them here in half number 2. Raiders move it around. Here's Mabels. Trying to work it in the low post. Nothing going on. Chown steps away. Here's Mabels. Mismatch. Vanderheit guards him. Here's Reinders. Out to Chown. Spins. And travels with the basketball.
Washington really turned it up on defense that possession. Able to force a turnover from East Peoria.
Halfway into the third quarter, that's our first foul, so great pace of play here. Here's Brewer, he's been the man. 10 points, leading scorer for Washington. Second overall in the game. Jake Stewart trying to get some. Here's Vanderheit. Down low, Johnson spins. Up, in for 2, 5-point game. No lead is safe when the Panthers are involved. Reinders up, no good.
Just a poor shot there from East Peoria. Washington with the momentum.
Just a while ago, this was a 14-point ball game.
Panthers looking for that big basket that would really fire up their student section.
Vanderheit, tough shot, no good. Brewer gets it, up. And Micah Brewer makes it a 3-point ball game.
Just like that, Washington chance to tie with a 3. Gavin, something was said at halftime by Eric Schumacher, head coach of the Panthers, that got his squad fired up.
Page steps into it too. He's a bucket getter. Big response, but Washington has the momentum needle firmly in their favor. Micah Brewer has been the instigator. Down to Johnson. Stolen away. Mabels keeps it. Here comes Page. Page, free throw line. Stripped away, kept by Dubois. Dubois, turnaround jumper up and in for 2. Back to a 7-point game. Now a little call and response.
Peoria definitely answered the call there. Washington stole all the momentum away, but the Raiders grab it right back.
Stewart was wide open, couldn't get it. Board taken in, 2-on-1. Raiders down to Reinders. Nifty play, but Page comes in for the offensive board and puts it in for 2. Page up to 13. Rather, 15.
Peoria hitting that stride. Washington looking for a big answer.
9-point game. Brewer's been very good. Stewart 1 of the 3. Here comes Vanderheit. Up and in. Tough take. Braden Vanderheit, the junior, responds. Back to a 7-point game. Rock fight. Best way to describe this one.
I think we're setting up for another good finish in this third meeting between the two.
They've been both good so far. I wouldn't expect anything less. Here's Dubois. Tipped away and stolen by the Panthers. They've got 50 seconds. Stewart's going to be wide open. Got it!
Jake Stewart. How about answering the call? Washington, 4-point game. Both these teams will not let either team get an inch.
Raiders want to take the last shot at all costs, and they're going to let them have it. Page is going to call out a play. So they'll try to exit the third quarter with a lead, but it's slim right now as momentum is well in the Panthers' favor. A 13-point halftime lead down to just 4. Page, long 3, no good. White takes it in. Brewer at the buzzer, off the top of the backboard. But the Panthers are hot. 4-point game in Washington. Don't go anywhere. It's going to be an exciting finish on ClutchSportsAl.com.
Hi, this is Ben Whitaker, and this is Ben Whitaker's Used Cars.
Hey, everybody knows I know deals. You want Sam Lehman deals? You want my deals.
And I'm not budget. Ain't nobody doing deals like I do. I'm gonna bust this Sam Lehman Mort. Just show me the numbers.
What? Ain't nobody beating that deal.
That's how we do the deals. No one else will.
Welcome back to Washington. Thanks to our great sponsors for supporting tonight's ball game. Also sponsored by Jake Weston in Washington. For all your insurance need, give Jake a call or visit his website at jakewestoninsurance.com. Like a good neighbor, Jake from State Farm is there. Also by Domino's. Everybody wins when you choose Domino's. Great pizza, wings, and new loaded tots. With over 20 area locations to choose from, everybody wins when you choose Domino's. Great matchup on hand. Third meeting between these two clubs. And it's going to come down to the wire. Washington will start with the ball as they trail by 4. They've been hot. Micah Brewer aiding the comeback. He's going to try a 3. No. That was the look you wanted.
Heat check there.
Mabels will try to respond on the other end. No good. Taken down by Chown over 2 Washington players. Foul on the floor. Only our second foul of the second half.
This game has moved along quick.
Not even street ball. It's just almost like the refs aren't out there.
Yeah.
No need for them to call anything.
But it's been clean.
Very clean,
yeah,
yes.
It's been clean. Makes for an exciting game.
Lets you focus on the basketball. Maybe a little more so than the fouls. Forces teams to make good shots. Make big plays. Here's DuBois. Over to Chown. Chown steps into a 2. No good. Vanderheit gets it. Here comes Washington, a chance to cut it to 1 possession. Brewer. 12 points in the game.
Trying to look for the hot hand, Jake Stewart. Maybe get him off a screen again. He's been the go-to guy for the Panthers.
Vanderheit with some space over to White and 1. Jamari White gets it on the foul. And a chance to cut it to 1.
Now with the free throw here, Washington down 1 point if he can make it. And a big turnaround from the first half.
Got it to go. 1 point ball game. It's close as it's been since the early stages. Actually, the Raiders had a 3-point lead to start the game. So it's close as it's been. Up and in. Page responds. And 1 for Justin Page. So he'll get a chance to respond.
It's a big-time player right there.
Raiders haven't trailed, but again, Washington just with the momentum. Free throws off, so only gets 2 on the possession. 3-point ball game. 3 can tie it. 2 keeps it down to 1. Stewart. Brewer. Playing some catch. Guarding him closely. Here's Stewart, wants to drive in, taking his time. Brewer up for 2. He's fouled.
He's going to go to the line. Reinders didn't like the call, but Micah Brewer now a chance to cut it back to 1 again.
And a night that, although he's got 9 points, Jake Stewart always gets his own. Maybe a little uncharacteristically quiet. Micah Brewer has been the guy for Washington. He's got a chance to go to 14 points if he makes his second free throw and cut it down to 1. Buddy Jackson in for A.J. Reinders. Up and no good, and it's going to stick with Washington. So a chance to do a little more than just 1 on this possession. Johnson comes back in for Jackson. Say that 3 times fast. Johnson, Jackson.
Washington wants to make sure Eric Shumorn directing traffic out there that they get the right play drawn up. 3 can give them the lead, 2 can tie it.
It'd be their first lead of the ball game. See what they look for. Not giving Brewer any space behind the arc. Under 6 to go. Johnson over to Vanderheit. Stewart thought about it. Drives in. Vanderheit up and in. Tie ball game. Our first tie since 0-0.
And now we are in for a great regional semifinal finish.
DuBois over to Page. He'll get a screen. Dubois shoots for three. Got it! Jack Dubois with a big response right there. Here come the Panthers trying to answer. Vanderheit down to Johnson. Jamari White will try to answer off the mark. Buddy Jackson hauls it in. Under 5 to go. Stolen away.
Big takeaway there from the Panthers.
Brewer can pull up from anywhere. Switches onto him as Jackson. Now over to Johnson. Trying to get Stewart open for three. Vanderheit wants it over the top in the low post. They'll step out with it. Brewer over to Vanderheit. Jamari White tries a triple. Off the mark. Page comes out with it.
Now
Wanted to
chance
heat,
for
yeah.
East Peoria to slow it down a little bit.
Justin Page is going to take his time. He'll dump it off, and a few Raiders touch it before it comes back to Page. Not in a hurry. Chown takes it himself, pulls up inside the free throw line, got it to go. Trying to reestablish the mid-range game, which worked quite well in the first half for East Peoria. 5-point ball game. Stewart drives in, up for two.
Soft.
Smooth finish.
Yeah, very soft touch there from Stewart. Back to a three-point game, Gavin.
This is going to be a heck of a finish. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on ClutchSportsIL.com.
Find your perfect used car at every Uftring Auto Group dealer. All-wheel drive SUVs, hard-working trucks, economy, muscle, luxury, and more. You'll feel good when you buy an Uftring used car, because if we wouldn't sell it to our family, we wouldn't sell it to you. UftringAutoGroup.com.
Also, thanks to our sponsor, Jake Weston, State Farm in Washington. For all your insurance needs, give Jake a call or visit the website there on your screen. Like a good neighbor, Jake from State Farm is there. Also by Domino's. Thanks to Domino's for supporting Clutch Sports Media and high school athletics. Grab new favorites at Domino's, including pizza, wings, as well as their new loaded tots. 20 area locations. Everybody wins at Domino's. Panthers just took timeout. Both teams with 3 remaining. Haven't had to dish off the timeouts too much. Some perspiration on the floor, as that'll allow for no substitution. The official's going to wave that off. Into Page. And out of bounds, an unforced error right there. That's huge.
Yeah, so right back with Washington, not the turnover East Peoria wanted. As the student section kind of comes down and lets them know.
Lax play right there costs the Raiders a possession. Panthers can tie with another 3. Barely gets it in. 4 seconds out of 5. Stewart thought about a 3. Low post. Brewer steps back. He'll kick it out again.
They are not giving Washington anything between Brewer or Stewart from 3. They know both those guys can knock him down.
They want to force him to move the ball inside. Not incapable of scoring in there, but the 3 ball has been the bread and butter. Stewart almost had enough room. Johnson has it. Gives it off to Brewer.
You know what Washington's looking for.
They'll try to get a 2 instead. Vanderheit, second opportunity, third opportunity. Finally, the Raiders come out with it. And Page is going to reset. 2 chances right there, and then it was just bouncing around like a pinball. Chown's got it in the corner. Back to Du Bois. He'll try to drive in. Nothing happening. Over to Reinders. Over to Mabels.
This Peoria can use some clock.
That's what they're trying to do. Page will get a free throw line. Jay off the iron. And Stewart comes out with it. A little over a minute and a half to go. Into Jamari White. Bounces up, fouled. And he'll get a chance to shoot too.
That baseball throw from Stewart.
Practicing.
Yeah, season right around the corner.
Practicing those throws from middle infield over to first base. Does Stewart pitch as well?
Yeah.
Stewart does pitch, says John Camosa. It's been such a long basketball season,
I believe he does.
you tend to forget some of the other sports, so props to Stewart being a pitcher and a hooper. White tries to complete the pair of free throws, and it's off the iron, bounced around, out of bounds, and it's going to stick with Washington. Off the iron, a tough bounce will stick with the Panthers.
What a turn of events there for Washington. Looked like Peoria was getting it back, and Mari White able to throw it off Jack Du Bois, and now things are getting really interesting here at Torrey Gymnasium. Washington tie it with the 2, take the lead with the 3.
Slugfest in Washington. 2 ties it, 3 leads it, just like you just said, John. Brewer, 3. Oh, he got it!
Falling away.
Micah Brewer, biggest shot of the evening.
Now we are in for a great one.
What a shot from Micah Brewer. Sending shockwaves around the gym.
Kind of off balance there.
Shock and awe. And Washington takes their first lead of the ballgame. How about that, John?
We knew at some point the way this game was going that someone was going to hit that big shot, postseason basketball. Micah Brewer answers the call. Gavin, this one, minute and 10 left. We might see overtime again.
Are they going to say the shot was a 2, John?
I believe it was a 2.
So not a 3. I was almost certain that was a 3-point shot.
Yeah, I believe it's a 2.
49's on the scoreboard.
I guess at first when we were talking, I just looked up. I could have swore. So it is a 2-point shot.
The ref talking to one of the coaches there from Washington, and looks like that's correct. So even ball game, got to change the dynamic of it. So now kind of a scenario here for you, John. It's a minute 10. Try to run this down for a last shot situation.
Yeah, dare I say it, will we see overtime again between these two teams?
Wouldn't that be something? Nearly turned over. Reinders in trouble, and he's fouled. Nowhere near the bonus. Washington has a lot of fouls to give, as does East Peoria. 3rd team foul on Washington.
And Gavin, question for you now. If you're East Peoria, how much clock do you use until you try to score? Would you milk it all the way down, or would you wait for a quick shot and just try to get a stop on defense?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, and I think that it's just a matter of, unless you get something completely wide open, just keep moving the ball, smart passes, try to dribble around a little bit. Washington's going to try to push the pressure.
Yeah, and clearly Coach Eric Schermerhorn here is defensive minded. He wants a turnover if they do elect to hold the ball. He's got Bernie Wynn out there. Andre Lewis. His 2 sharpshooters, Micah Brewer, Jake Stewart on the bench. Almost like a hockey line change there.
Indeed. Jumping over the boards, getting the defense in. Page gets it on the inbounds, under a minute to go. Let's see what they do. Page clears them out. Reinders has it. Back to Mabels, back to Page. 44 to go. Page has it. Spins around, two-pointer, up, no good.
Washington now.
Panthers get it. Double dribble, no, timeout.
So now Washington
yeah,
changed.
wow.
I thought initially it did look like he double dribbled, but Washington gets a timeout.
And take a look at the Washington bench. That timeout was now to set something up. 29 seconds to go for the win.
I think you go for the win. You're at home. You imagine the student section would love this.
That Micah Brewer shot was definitely a two-pointer upon further review. From our vantage point, it would certainly look like a three on the step back, so can't fault ourselves, but nevertheless, we made an error. We will correct it. 29.2, and Washington could try to win it.
Who's your go-to guy if you're Washington?
Boy, I'd be remiss not to say Jake Stewart.
I think if they cover the perimeter and try to really pressure Stewart and Brewer, you could have guys down low like Vanderhyde and White get open. Even Johnson, be a huge spot for a freshman, but you can't rule out something down low.
Full court pressure. Raiders will try to force a violation or a turnover. But they're going to back off. They're going to let Brewer do his thing. Here we go. Buckle in. Stewart. Johnson. 15. Timeout Panthers, and that was designed.
Just milks the
playing
clock.
Tricks with us.
So now 8.7 on the clock. And what a game this has been. You know, we thought, Gavin, in our last call, not our last call, but our last game between Washington and East Peoria, we called at East Peoria. It could have been the game of the year for Clutch Sports Media. This one might top that one.
It's hard to believe they keep topping each other, and nevertheless the same teams. Wow.
Same teams. And we've had a lot of great games on CSM, but it's just something about postseason basketball with Mid-Illini or Big 12 teams. Always give you a great finish.
It's going to be a heck of a finish. Last shot opportunity. 8.7. Stewart, Johnson, White, Brewer, Vanderhyde for the Panthers. Du Bois, Mabels, Chown, Reinders, and Page for East Peoria. Here we go.
See who gets the ball in their hands. 8.7.
We'll let the crowd tell you. And the crowd didn't tell you much because we got a miss. So no good.
Back to East Peoria.
1 second on the clock. Shaping up for OT, which is just unreal that these teams are back in another overtime battle, possibly. It'd take a big shot. Don't count it out. We've seen some miracles on ClutchSportsIL.com. Not on video, but of course that Metamora SHG state title game with that miracle three-pointer. We've seen buzzer beaters. Don't put it out of the question. We'll find out in about 1 second.
Anything can happen in the postseason.
Page throws it at the horn. Off the iron. Everybody held their breath. Oh, my goodness.
Almost got that to go. Can't get any closer than that.
We've got overtime at Torrey. What else would you want?
Well, second time we've seen it between these two teams. 4 minutes to decide who's moving on to play Metamora Friday night. Overtime. Nothing quite like it, Gavin.
Got to imagine the close battle here will prepare one of these teams for a matchup with Metamora on Friday. Back here at Torrey. And I think you mentioned on the last broadcast when Metamora played Streeter, John, but how about that regional championship, as it's going to be a rivalry matchup one way or another? Possibly the fierce rival Panthers on the home floor taking on Metamora in the regional championship, or if it's East Peoria, another big rivalry matchup. Stakes are high.
Yeah, most definitely. And regardless of who Metamora draws, should be a fun night on Friday.
It will be. 4 minutes, though, to decide the winner. Or maybe more. Who knows? Jump ball. White and Chown. And tipped away. Taken in by DuBois. Up. No good off the iron. Heck of an effort. Raiders wanted a foul. Don't get it. Here's Brewer. Three-pointer. No good. Taken down by Chown. He's running the floor. 3-on-2. Down to DuBois. Up and in for two. So DuBois' first shot of overtime didn't go. Second one falls. 51-49 Raiders.
Back to Boys. East Peoria regains the lead.
Officials timeout. I'm not sure the confusion here, John.
I'm not sure either.
Really trying to just sort this one out.
Not really sure.
Little perplexed. If it caught anybody's eye, hit us up in the chat if you're watching on YouTube.
Popcorn on the ground in front of the student. I saw you pointed there. Bottle on the court.
Must have been a spillage. Don't want anybody tripping on popcorn. Here's Brewer off the officials' timeout. Reinders is on the deck. Stolen by Chown. Here come the Raiders. Chown dribbling up himself down to Reinders. Reinders drives inside. Up off the iron. Bounces around. Tipped away. Raiders wanted to keep it the student section. Boy, jumping all around.
Yeah,
They're fired up.
Yelling at the officials.
Getting an earful from the EP students. A lot of emotion in the gym right now. Panthers get it back. Low post. Johnson tipped out of bounds. It'll stick with Washington. And John, if memory serves me right, I think this is kind of similar to how the last time these two teams played overtime got started.
Yeah.
EP would get a bucket. Here comes Page. We'll get to that thought in a moment. Page, Euro steps up and fouled. So he'll get a chance to shoot two, but I believe EP started out with a bucket or two. Then Washington, I think, would go on to score the rest of the points in their narrow victory.
I believe that's how it happened.
Although Chown, Saul Chown of East Peoria had a rim-rattling putback that I nearly lost it on the call. Took me and just about everybody else by surprise. Chance to go up 2 possessions. Justin Page, free throw off the back iron. So it's a 3-point game now. Micah Brewer. Jamari White has it. Up. Tough take by Jamari White. Quick bucket, gets it back to 1.
Trading baskets.
Raiders take their time. Defense chant from the Washington students. Du Bois hands it off to Reinders. Thought about stepping into a shot, won't do it. Over to Chown. He'll get into the low post. Back to Reinders. Drives down the lane. Up. Throws it up. Just off. Can't get it to go. Micah Brewer comes down with it.
Kind of a tough shot there.
Chance to take the lead with any bucket. Brewer over to Jamari White. Back to Vanderheit. White was wide open, stolen away by the Raiders. And they will certainly take some timeout East Peoria. Smart call there by John Gerznich as they had 3 remaining. Let's get a idea of maybe what you're thinking for both teams' huddles.
Yeah, you know, if you're East Peoria, slow it down here. Washington, it's going to take a big effort here late, but this game is right now decided by 1 point. You know how these teams can go back and forth, and having kind of setting up where we were at the end of the 4th quarter, it seems like nothing's really changed.
Can you believe this was a 14-point game at one point?
Does not feel like it.
Raiders up by as much as 14, and then Washington, as they so frequently do, just claw back into it. Throw out the records. Throw everything out. It doesn't matter when you've got 2 rivals playing each other. As much how it'll be on Friday. Sure, stats can tell some of the tale, but it's how you play your rivals in the big situations. East Peoria off the timeout. We'll have 1:26 to play with. Maybe going to chew some clock. We'll see what they have drawn up.
East Peoria, a chance to chew a little clock. Washington's obviously going to want to force a turnover.
Gets it to Reinders. Down to Mabels. Up and fouled. So Cam Mabels will shoot 2. And it looks like Washington went to that 1-2-2 zone. Trying to put some pressure on. Broke rather quickly by East Peoria, and then Mabels gets fouled. First one's up and good by the senior Mabels. Here comes another line change as Patterson, Stewart, and Brewer check back in. Mabels up, and second one is good. 3-point ball game. 118.
2 big free throws from Mabels.
First 2 points of the game for Mabels come at the right time. They find Brewer open. 3 off the iron. Page comes down with it. 1 minute to play. And he's fouled. So now it's going to be bonus time. Got to make the first to earn the second. And Page will try to earn 2.
Anytime you think Micah Brewer's got that look beyond the arc, he's going to knock it down. That one couldn't go for him. Justin Page, big opportunity to extend this lead.
First one is up and good for Justin Page. So he'll earn the second. 59 seconds, a whole lot can happen. Second one is up and good. 5-point game. Here's Brewer. Throws it ahead. Johnson has it on the baseline. Drives up, blocked by Page. Hits the baseline. Chown and Page are fired up, rightfully so. No harm, no foul. Washington gets it back. Inbounds. Brewer needs to make something happen. Brewer, two-pointer. Got it. Timeout, Washington.
Nice shot there from Brewer. Says we're not going away just yet, keeping his team alive.
And something we haven't talked a lot about tonight is the makeup of these rosters, of course. When you've got seniors that have been around the block and understand these high-leverage situations, it's going to do wonders for your team. As far as experience goes, East Peoria has 5 seniors. Washington has Stewart, Jackson, Brewer, and Jamari White as seniors. So good balance there. Guys that have been around the block. Justin Page went and played in sectionals last year with Peoria Manual. He hit some clutch shots. Obviously does a lot for your team, though.
Yeah, guys that have been around the playoff scene, used to these big moments. Obviously another big moment here tonight. Washington doesn't want to exit. First game of the postseason in East Peoria, obviously they want to pull out a win as well.
46.6. Refs shooing the photographers up out of their sitting positions on the baseline. Full court pressure, zone. Here comes Reinders. Back to Page. Moves to Chown, back to Reinders. They're going to play pitch and catch now. Nearly turned over. 27 and fouled right there. So it's a game at the free throw line for East Peoria, but still 1 in the bonus. Not a guarantee to get 2, which is big in a 3-point game.
Justin Page, he knows if he can knock both these down, huge for East Peoria. Then you put a lot of pressure on Washington to get down and score in a hurry. Whereas a miss, 2 misses.
Page up and good. Off the front iron, but it goes down. 25.6 in a 2-possession ball game. Increases it to 5-point lead. Here's Brewer. Johnson drives in, nearly turned over. Jamari White up. What a tough 2. Jamari White is clutching up in the overtime.
Now Washington 3 can tie it. He's got to put a lot of pressure on the inbounds for East Peoria. If you can't get a quick steal, foul someone other than, I'd say, Justin Page.
Page has been pretty good at the stripe. He's missed a couple early in the ball game, but he's hit them when they count. Mabels has made his 2 free throws. We really haven't seen many foul shooters for the Raiders. Jack Du Bois tends to be a pretty solid free throw shooter, but I'll leave the numbers and the scouting on that to Washington, as I'm sure they probably have a long list of guys they would like to foul ideally in these situations. Great coaching matchup this evening, John. John Gerznich of East Peoria, former Spoon River boys coach, Hall of Famer at Spoon River, winningest coach in men's basketball history. Former Canton athletic director, now in East Peoria, Eric Schumerhorn. Coached with Kevin Brown for a long, long time and has taken over and done a fantastic job since then. Page inbounds it, 13 seconds, and Reinders is fouled, so 12 seconds to go. Free throws are the name of the game, still 1 in the bonus.
Big free throw here for Reinders.
The junior Reinders is the lone junior in the starting 5. Not many juniors that play minutes on the Raiders. Up and good, Reinders hits it. Clutch situations here. Free throws can win and lose you a ball game. And the Raiders are trying to ice it. Second one is good. Inbounds it. Here comes Brewer. Under 10 seconds. Throws up a prayer. Off the iron. Bounced away. Chown gets it. Mabels. And the Raiders are going to shoot 2 more free throws.
But that's going to seal it. East Peoria pulls out the big win here at Washington.
And Justin Page talks to the crowd. First foul shot is up and good. So it looks like it'll be East Peoria and Washington. Rather, East Peoria and Metamora. I had to gather my thought there. Brain is fried. Lots of basketball. Got 2 games in an overtime period, John Camosa.
Yeah, just a great game here in the semifinals. East Peoria going to hang on, but what a game.
It's up and good. Inbound in. And Raiders escape victorious, 61-55. John, some initial thoughts.
Yeah, just an incredible game. East Peoria built up a big lead. You know, Washington storms right back, going back and forth, and then East Peoria able to escape. Once again, these 2 teams meeting in overtime. East Peoria fell twice to the Panthers. What better way to avenge that than in a regional semifinal?
Tough slate at the end of the game there for the Panthers, but they had a heck of a comeback. They've been so good. Get a quick break for our sponsors, and we'll be right back on ClutchSportsOut.com.
I've been waiting a long time for this moment to come. I'm destined for anything at all. Downtown, lights will be shining on me. Hey, hey.
Back to Washington as East Peoria defeated Metamora 61-55. They get the best of the third meeting. And the Raiders will move to Friday's regional championship, taking on number 1 ranked Metamora. Let's get some thoughts from this game. John Camosa started out first half, all Raiders, led by 13, as much as 14 as 1 point. Raiders controlled the flow of this game, but unsurprisingly, Washington mounted a large comeback, made things tough, even got a lead at 1 point, just not enough to get it done in overtime.
Yeah, no, it was, Washington team we've seen so many times just able to come back in games, but East Peoria able to close this one out. I think somewhere in the back of their mind, Gavin, they had those 2 games that they dropped, one at Washington, one at home, and tonight they had that revenge on their mind. They want to come out here and steal one at Washington. No bigger time than a chance to get into the regional championship game. But, they lost that big lead. They didn't get too fazed by it, I should say, and just kind of held on late, rode the storm, able to pull out the win.
Indeed, they were. Big effort. So, in a way of looking ahead, John, as we will have coverage of both regional finals on Friday. Peoria Richwoods and Peoria Manual will face off at Peoria High School. East Peoria will take on Metamora here at Washington High School. Maybe some thoughts going into both of those games. A lot of exciting action coming up. You're not going to want to miss it. But obviously we'd expect some big efforts from all four of those teams.
No, I think it's going to be two really good games. And let's start with here right at Washington. You got Metamora, number 1 team in the state. After that win against Streeter today, 26 wins in a row. They've played East Peoria twice, beat them twice, but both of those games extremely close. East Peoria, like we said, tough to beat a team 3 times. You know they're going to come in and give the Redbirds their best effort. And then you jump over to Peoria High, Richwoods, and Manual. There's not a whole lot more to say than that game should be a city slugfest. That game is going to be fun. Richwoods, a state-ranked team. Manual, they always hit, they always click on full cylinders in the playoffs. 2 great matchups. What better way to stream them? If you can get there. They're going to be fun to watch.
No doubt. Get there in person if you can, but if you can't, you know where to go. ClutchSportsIsle.com is the place to be for IHSA postseason basketball. The original March Madness runs through Clutch, and we're excited to bring you all the action coming up this week, next week, and beyond. So that's going to wrap it up here from Washington. Raiders victorious and move on to Friday's regional championship, 61-55 over host Washington. For our entire fantastic crew who worked 2 games this evening, Charlie Schumerhorn on camera, Teddy Ball, social media feeds, Larry Larson returning for Clutch Sports Media after a brief absence since football season, doing a great job on the sticks. For my broadcast partner, John Camosa, I'm Gavin Russell signing off. We'll be back later this week for more IHSA postseason basketball. Thanks for tuning in, and check out more action coming up on ClutchSportsIsle.com.